Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Taste of Family, our Old Gods of Appalachia story, where tonight we're going to meet our explorer, John Alden. But before we get to this handsome devil, let me set the stage for you. Family is defined as a group of parents and children living together as a unit, sometimes even descending from a single common ancestor. But there's no mention of joy, no mention of camaraderie, no mention of love, and with the world racing towards enlightenment, whoever has a time for any of that anymore? Expansion, industrialization, and a new century bursting with opportunity at every turn. And so that was the promise. Family. The word carries a different significance for everyone, and when one family has struggled with loss and heartbreak, and worse, what could family mean to them? Not just as a group, but as individuals. Love is not in question here. Everyone in this family loves one another, at least publicly. But what if there are more than secrets in the shadows? And what if there are more than just skeletons in their closet? What does one do when generation after generation their family has propagated this disease dressed as a curse? What can one do? By the year of our Lord 1909, the town of Abingdon, Virginia is crawling towards becoming a city in its own right. It is a mere fraction of what Roanoke, Virginia is sitting at, and a pittance of what awaits visitors to Norfolk, Virginia on the coast. But these are innocents that did not ask for the Barrow family to come into its bosom. They did not invite them to sup with them at their table, to break bread and sing their hymns with them. They did not welcome this plague onto their streets or their porches. But as the world careens towards this glorious future that has been promised by the coal barons and the captains of industry, the old ways have been discarded, almost forgotten. And those in the darkness have been rebuked long enough. For now is the time of the long shadows as the sun dissolves into the horizon. Now is the time of the deep sapphire and inked obsidian vellum of a night sky claiming what it is due. And it has been long overdue. But what can something that has never been born and can never die know of what it means to belong to something greater than itself? And what can something ancient and primeval bring itself to do when it has acquired a taste for family? Almost 30 years to the day and more than 100 miles away from the events of Fort Lewis on the outskirts of Salem, Virginia, we find ourselves creeping towards Halloween. The end of the harvest season is upon us. Some know it as a festival for children, others know it as Samhain. All, however, know that it is the time when the wall between worlds is at its thinnest. Of the families that have called Abingdon home, the Boyd family counted itself among the blue-collar workforce that helped forge the current path of the city is on. But so has the Alden family, or what's left of it. Having come down to find work in Abingdon, we find ourselves descending on a field outside of the Emory and Henry College, which was founded in 1836. This is where we get to see a little bit of who John Alden actually is. Hello, my friend. It is good to see you. It has been one hell of a week. It is Friday, the 1st of October. What has, do you think, taken the longest to set in for John at this new work?
I think knowing that I'm going to be here for a while and trying to figure out when I can get back to Metz, when I'll have enough funds to take my wife and my child back to that town and go back home. This is my family's home, but this isn't really my home.
When was the last time that you talked to your family? Not your wife or child, but your actual extended family, the family you left behind.
We've had correspondence, to kind of hear about William and how he's doing out there in the sea. When we got back, but I haven't heard from them. I haven't received any postage since February.
Mm. So it's safe to say that you haven't heard about Frankie either.
What happened with Frankie?
I'm just asking.
Nah.
Or Charlie. It's been a while, right, since you've heard from both of them.
You lose touch with your friends. You grow up as children, and sometimes work is all you do. You don't hear from them.
Have you seen either of them since you've come back to Abingdon, do you think? Or have you avoided crossing paths?
I think it's possible. Maybe I just haven't run into them yet. Maybe that time hasn't arrived.
Okay. Your supervisor, a Mr. As soon as I can stop this from going up and down, Joseph Briggs, comes around. He's got a little jangle in his pocket, and as you are busy hammering away at something, he puts down $10 and some loose change. Looks like a dime, couple of nickels, and some pennies.
Hey, boss, how goes it?
Here you are, Mr. Alden. As promised, first week's pay.
Thank you, Joseph. Your last name is Briggs, but man, you're Mr. Big here, man. In my heart, you got me, and I appreciate you.
Come on. You know I can't give you any more than what you got coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Flattery will get you nowhere. How's that shoeing coming along? You got old Bessie up and running again?
I think so. I'm working along. I'm getting it. Maybe I get an extra horseshoe, put it up on the doors, for good luck.
Oh, you believe in that kind of thing?
All we got is our superstitions.
I mean,
and our family.
Superstitions are only as good as how far you can throw them, and I can't really say I've ever thrown a horseshoe at a door and hit something marvelous about it.
Oh, that's a game we play with the boys. You put a rail track on the road, and you go back as far as you can, get the horseshoe around it. Old game. As kids, we played it.
This was fun for you?
It's fun to see if you can, hit something. That's what kids do. They try to hit things sometimes.
I mean, anybody ever stop a kid from hitting another kid with a horseshoe?
Can't say. We all did it in fun. We're friends.
Yeah, it sounds like a good way to lose an eye, my friend, and I don't rightly think I'm okay with that, and I don't think Jesus is all right with that either.
He protects us all.
Amen.
Amen.
You see him take off his hat, and he kind of plops back onto the work counter. And although he has his coat on and the air has gotten chilly recently, you see him pull out a handkerchief and kind of pat the back of his neck. It's warm out here, ain't it? With the furnace going?
Yeah, it's a hot night here, and it's a hot night in the shop. Maybe grab a beer after this.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Your wife all right with that?
Yeah, maybe I should get home. Just
well, I'm not telling you not to do it, Mr. Alden. I'm just letting you know what's right with the Lord, it might not be right with the home.
Yeah, I should probably get back. It's been a while, but maybe another night, boss. I got permission from the missus. I'll be in the right.
Happy wife, happy life. That's what I always say.
Yes, sir.
One of life's little lessons you learn.
You learn it quick.
You see him reach into his breast pocket, his inside breast pocket, and he pulls out a small silver-like sheen of an object, curved. It is a flask. And when he shakes it at you, you can hear that it is about a third of the way down. It's a heavy slosh. There's still a bit left.
Wow, boss. Always prepared, I see.
I mean, if you can't take time away from work, make some work at time. or something like that. I might have had too much already. And you see him spin the cap off and take a swig, and then he extends his hand out to you. You a bourbon guy?
Love me corn in any of its forms. And I grab the flask and I say, one drink to ease a man, a full flask to drown his sorrows. And I just take a swig and pass it back to him.
It is unfettered hooch. It is somebody's attempt at creating bourbon, and it tastes almost like paint thinner.
Oh, that kicks like Bessie.
That dude got a kick. And I'll
Down
tell
in my
you,
gut.
my cousin Larry, he has this machine that he attempts to recreate what he drinks, and sometimes he hits it on the head, and then most of the time you get this. And he takes another swig. That'll put hair on your chest, I'll tell you what.
That it will. That it will, sir. We all got to practice till we get it right, don't we?
Journey of 1,000 steps begin with a single foot.
Sounds great.
And then you see him spin the cork back on, puts it back in his pocket, and as he pushes himself up onto his feet, you see him stumble a bit, and then he catches himself. I think I'm gonna take the long way around back to the office just to get some air, some of this nice cool breeze under my hat. And then he starts to fan himself as he walks out. You have a good weekend, Mr. Alden. I'll see you bright and early on Monday.
You too, Joseph. You take it easy.
He makes his way out. You finish up the work, and as the sun begins to set, you can see the last vestiges of light, making it harder and harder to focus on the task at hand. You pack up, start clearing your stuff off. It's been a long moment, about an hour and a half, 2 hours since Joseph Briggs came by and paid you. And although you can see some of the gas lanterns being lit over at the main campus, out here on the outskirts of the campus, or where the barns are and where the animals are tended to, there's a lack of that. It seems like people out here are done long before the sun sets and just kind of leave this to whoever gets stuck on night duty. And as you're making your way towards the actual campus grounds, from the tree line, you just hear a very soft, "Hey."
I turn and I look in that direction, just to see who's calling me at this dead hour of night, just to be aware of my surroundings.
Doesn't look like there's anybody there. You can see some rustling though, like something's moving.
Hey, friend, don't hide in the shadows. If you're there, I'm friendly. Just a man walking home.
Again, you hear, "Hey," and you'll see a hand come up out of the bushes. A little help, if you don't mind.
I'm all for helping those in need. And then I walk towards, and what happened, poor soul? And I kind of reach out my hand.
As you come over to the tree line and look down into the bushes, there is a naked man holding his hand up, his arm out towards you. Looks like he's seen a couple of rounds with a heavyweight boxer. But there is nothing to hide his modesty and It looks like he's picking out a tooth with his other hand.
Oh, you had a rough one of it.
Oh,
You made some decisions, didn't you?
uh, some bad decisions.
Look, I can't do too much for you, but maybe I can go to the shop, grab you a towel, give you something so you can get your way home.
Yeah, yeah,
Without
that'd
being,
be awfully nice of you. A little help getting my feet too. World's swimming a bit, and I want to make sure that I got my feet under me.
I'll be right back. And then I would head to the shop and hope that I have some type of towel that I could give him. And I figure I can't pull this guy for whatever it is. It's probably too much, but I can at least offer some kindness so he can make his way back to. If he can make his way back on his own path, he does. If he goes deeper into drinking and boxing, I can't. I don't want to become the sinner I see, but I want to help the sinner free himself from the sin.
Yeah. There is an apron. There's a work apron. It's leather. It was there before you got there, so it must have belonged to the previous smith. It's always been a little big on you, but it looks like it'll serve the purpose of hiding a stranger's penis from your gaze.
Hard to look away. Grab it, and I head back to see the man in the bushes. I'm like, look, I got this is as much as I could do. I hope it helps you. Here you go, sir.
Yeah, when you come back, he's on his knees. He's like on all fours, just kind of vomiting a mixture of what smells like some of the same concoction that Joe shared with you, and a little bit of bile and blood. And he just has his starfish just kind of looking up at you. So there's a moment where he shuffles around, kind of apologetically grunting at you, and trying to hide himself now that he's a little bit more cognizant of the situation that he has found himself in. But he'll reach up and take the apron from you.
I'm not as judgmental as some, but it's not as good coming out as it is going in, I guess. I wish you the best, sir. I hope you find your way, man. Find your way.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you and everything you've done. And then you see him just fork over what looks like a piece of chicken. From the white coloring of it, could be pork, but there's definitely some loosely eaten food that's coming up.
I throw up sympathetically. I gotta go. I'm sorry, sir. I can't be here.
He just waves you away.
I make my way.
He throws the apron over himself, just like a cape at this point, just to cover himself.
Best of luck, sir. And I start heading home. A little happy that at least there was some good I was able to do in the day.
All right. But as you're heading home, you'll notice that there are these wide open spaces of just cornfield, that some of the places out far by the college, at least, as it is not in the heart of the town, but rather off to towards the northwest. And there are these farms that just kind of spread out. They're not huge, like industrialized farms like we're used to now. They're 2 or 3 acres of farm, just enough to get by with the neighbors, and to kind of try to sell out to the neighboring towns if they need it. But all the corn has been picked at this point. Harvest season is over. The situation here, though, is you'll notice that there's broken stalks. It looks like somebody lumbered through the cornfield, and you can see parcels of clothing There are torn pants, maybe about 20 yards into the cornfield. Beyond that, another 20 or 30 yards, you'll see what looks to be an undershirt, coat's arm, coat's sleeve kind of sticking up out of some of the stalks further into the cornfield.
I'm thinking to myself, how much did that man drink? Was he out here? God, Nick, if he's naked over there and there's clothes over here, maybe it's the same man. Huh. I mean, when he sobers up, he'll probably find his stuff, but man, I've never been on a bender that bad.
Yeah, it looks like whoever came through here was definitely fighting off some of the corn.
Oh man. Well, if I was a farmer and I saw my farm ruined, I wouldn't want to see the man who did it out here. I think it's best not to get blamed for a crime I didn't commit.
Yeah.
Stay
Are
on
you
the proper.
are you trained in any perception skills?
I am not just focus, determination, and concentration as far as I know. So no.
Shit, okay. Let's have you roll a d20 then. Let's do the first roll of the night.
Okay, let's do it.
This is going to be an intellect test, as that's what perception falls under. Do you want to use any of your?
I rolled it already, so I won't use it. I'll just tell you the number.
You got
15.
it. 15.
15.
Not bad. You notice that there are several dents in the ground of feet fall. There are shoe marks, boot marks, really. But they're intermingled with unshoed footprints. There looks to be just this wild appearance of somebody shoed finding somebody that's not shoed, and the unshoed footprints lead out from the cornfield towards the college. The shoed footprints seem to stop at the corn line and then work their way back in.
Huh. Back into where?
Into the cornfield.
Oh. Interesting. Maybe this guy was stealing food or something, and then the farmer took this liking to him in his field. If maybe the house is that way. But I mean, it's probably none of my business, and I should be getting home to the missus.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm better off leaving this where it is.
Okay. The moment you turn away, you'll hear a cornstalk crack. And then you'll have this sensation of being watched.
I'll look over my shoulder and kind of do like a look around and see if I see anyone.
Coming back from the college, the road is empty, leading into the village, into the town itself. The road is also empty. There is a little bit of light coming from the lamppost that was erected at the beginning of the year at the excuse me, crossroad that signals the kind of road towards the college. And in the distance, you can probably make out a bit of light from where you pointed out the house, where you were like, that's probably where the house is. Excuse me. You start to see the light, little glow of what has to be a bonfire, or at least some kind of fire, but there's no smoke tendrils.
So from this where the sound came, I kind of have my hand on like my at least my forge hammer. I'm just in overalls and a hat and my shirt. I look over to where the sound came from and I just say, sorry, sir. I saw a scene. I don't mean to be on your land. I'm just gonna go about my way and leave you be. Sorry for for being out here. I didn't do any of this. I saw it and I just caught my eye.
It's your,
I start,
hey, come
hey,
on.
come on, what?
That's a loaded question, sir.
I would ask, you don't have any loaded questions pointed at me, do you?
You hear, come on, it's food.
Haven't ate. Long day at work. You know what? Maybe hospitality with a stranger is always a good thing to take on. I start walking towards the voice. I stow my hammer in the most non-aggressive way possible.
Okay.
And I kind of walk gently towards the fire.
The voice leads you into the cornfield. Are you still all right with that endeavor?
I am, but there's something I want to do is I
Yep.
kind of want to trek my foot on the dirt in a way where I'm leaving a pattern, like a trail that I know are my footsteps, essentially. That I
Okay.
might be able to see.
Sure.
Because I feel kind of lost. I'm looking up at this night sky. I'm like, it all looks the same.
There is this smell of maize that comes up the soil as you dig your foot into it to create this kind of line of travel. You can smell that it's been worked recently. There's that scent of sweat mixed with kind of musk of men. And as you follow the voice, you just keep hearing, got steaks, good old thick steaks, got a fire. You hungry?
I'm dying, sir. It was a long day at work.
And the voice always feels like it's 20 or 30 feet ahead of you, and always just kind of in the foliage of the corn. And no matter how much you try to like move to get a view, there's never a body in front of you, but you do hear like that crunch of steps moving with you. And if you stop, you'll hear the steps stop as well.
Try to kind of perceive like where he is when I stop, when he stops.
All right,
Like how far away he might be.
make a roll.
Okay. Let's pick a different die, so see if my luck gets worse.
All right. Now, before you roll, I will
Yeah.
have you know that because uh, you don't have any training in perception skills, that doesn't stop you from using some of your pool. The cipher system is really interesting in that you have 3 pools: might, speed, and intellect, and they kind of govern all the rolls. So you're allowed to ease a task with any skills by 2. You're allowed to ease a task with items by 2, and then you're allowed to go put some effort into it up to your tier. We're all tier 1 characters, so it's going to be just a simple 1 level of effort if you want to. Do you have any items that might help you locate this person?
I do not have any items
Right, so no
that will
skills,
help
no
me.
items.
I have my intellect pool of 15 and my edge of 1.
Ooh, all right. So if you want to put some intellect into it, some effort, normally the first time that you put effort into something, it costs you 3 points of your pool. You have an edge of 1, so that reduces it by that number. So you're only going to need to pay 2 points to ease a task by 1. So it'll bring your total down to 13 intellect.
Okay, I'm going to give it a shot.
All right, so that's going to ease your task down by 1. Go ahead and
I,
roll.
I rolled a 16.
16. Is that a crit? 16. No, I think 17 is where the crits start.
Yeah, 17 progressive crits to upward. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember reading about that and listening to it.
Yep. So you put some effort into it. You're trying to figure out where this voice is coming from. It sounds like an older, distinguished male voice. There's a gravity to it. You can hear a slight kind of gravel, like some smoking has happened in its life, and it looks like there is this shape, about 6 feet tall, ahead of you, about 10, 15 yards. But as you kind of stand there for a moment and try to focus your eyes on him, the shape doesn't make sense to you. It jerks and moves erratically, like a person shouldn't. There's moments where you'll see what looks like an arm kind of reach out for one of the stalks, but it's inhumanly small. It's maybe like a foot and a half long, and it's not where the arm should be.
I kind of rub in my eyes and take a look again, and I'm like, oh, that oh god, that's that flask. Oh, maybe I should just be getting home. It's dark. Something doesn't. I just don't feel right, sir. Taking advantage of your hospitality. You have a good night.
And as you are about to turn away, you see the form screech, and what was this 6 foot tall shape? Where the fuck did my pen go? This is a mystery I'm gonna have to solve later.
There are many mysteries in this universe.
You know what? You're not wrong. As the 6 foot shape turns in your direction, you see it explode into this four shapes that are like 2 feet tall. They're almost monkey-like in their appearance, but there's corn husks that are coming out of its skin. The arms themselves look like actual corn stalks. The limbs, every time that they bend, sound like cracking husks and stalks of corn. These, let's see if you recognize what these are, first of all. Because you have an area of knowledge. Oh, but that's railroading.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We've been overdue.
When I get scared, I tell bad jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you have any skills. Do you have any items that might help you identify these little motherfuckers?
Nah, I have a resistance to poison, and I have like a nasty gift to give someone.
Yeah. Your ciphers. These things screech at you like spider monkeys. So let's have you roll for initiative. Are you trained in that? No, you're not. All right, so it's going to be a flat roll for you.
Jesus, that's an 18.
18, nice.
I can put the camera down if you need it.
No, I trust you.
It's been good. I've never been this lucky.
Some nights are good, some nights are not. So there's 4 of these things. So luckily you rolled high enough that you get to go first. You got 4 of these little guys.
How I'm trying to perceive the situation. How likely is it that I could flee versus fight?
The way they're moving, it looks like using the corn to their advantage, they'll catch you before you make it back to the road.
Okay. I have a moment, and the thing I saw on that road in Metz, I was like, Oh, that might have been real. Oh no, that might have been real. And I kind of ready my sledgehammer and I go up to one of them and I try to take a swing.
Do it.
Yeah. So
Bring your hammer down. So you don't have any training in the warhammer, in the sledgehammer.
I have practiced.
You have practice. Yeah, so that means that you don't get any easement and you don't get any hindrance from it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a flat roll for you. Do you want to put any might effort into it? You've got an edge of 1 in your might.
I think I think it's worth it. These little buggers. I've never seen anything like this. I'm in a tizzy. I'm gonna take a swing. I'm gonna put the 2 points.
Okay.
Which drops me to 11, and then
that'll ease your task by 1. Yeah.
I'll take a swing at this one guy.
Do it.
And 15.
You bring your hammer straight down against it. Is a sledgehammer a medium or heavy item?
It's a heavy item with 6 damage.
6 damage. You bring your hammer down on the first of these little things. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there is this strange squelching sound, like you have brought this down on a child's body. The shriek, though, that it gives off is not human by any stretch of the imagination. And the smell of burnt corn radiates out from its husk, and you just see it wither underneath the weight of this hammer's head as you lop it up out of the ground where you embedded it. And the other 3 just turn to you. Their eyes start glowing with a blackness that eats up the whatever pupils they had, and they lunge at you. How would you like to defend yourself?
I'm not very fast from what I can tell, so I'm gonna try to take the brunt. I try to maybe brace myself.
Okay.
I'm wearing my overall jacket thing, so I got an armor of 2.
You got an armor of 2?
Yeah.
Damn. You fancy as fuck, boy.
That's what I got with my items.
They jump at you, and they have these. I don't know if you've ever felt a corn leaf, but they're incredibly sharp.
I have not.
They are frightening to touch, and as they lash out at you, one of them just kind of swipes like a dog trying to dig up some treasure that's in the middle of your chest. The other bites at your thigh, and the third one comes rushing over and just starts to bite at your ankle.
Lord save me.
They're coming for me, Jesus!
Lord protect me in this moment. These demons is evil.
The 2 that latch themselves onto your chest and thigh because of your apron, your jacket, don't do any damage to you whatsoever.
Get off!
The one that bit your ankle, though, does manage to get some of his teeth into your flesh, so you'll take 1 point of damage. You can take that from either your might or your speed pool.
I'll take that from my speed pool because he hit my ankle. I'm gonna go a little slower.
I like it. So you're at 9 there.
Yeah.
Got you. All right. So that's all of them. Brings us back up to you. How do you want to proceed with this next round?
I want to smash the one on my ankle because he hurt me, and god damn that hurts. So I want to bring down my hammer on him.
Okay.
I think in my rush I might just take a normal swing.
Okay. So you don't want to put any effort into it?
Nah, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm like, get off.
Get off me. Go on, get.
I rolled a 1.
Ooh. Ooh. So with a 1, that gives me a free GM intrusion, which is one of the little mechanics that exists in this game. Normally, when I intrude on a scene, I get to give you an experience point, and then you get to give somebody else at the table an experience point. With a natural 1, I get to do it just for free, no experience for anybody. So with a GM intrusion on these guys, the attack carries the russet fungus growing on its skin, infecting the character on a failed might defense roll. The infected character develops a disfiguring, itchy rash over the next few days, hindering interaction tasks and subtracting 1 from all their recovery rolls. The character can try to overcome the rash once each day with a hindered might defense roll.
One additional thing. For me, it only lasts half the time because my daddy built me strong. We are strong, the Aldens. So I have this endurance that would cut it in half.
All right. So you try to bring your hammer down on the one at your ankle, and it just brings, like, it grabs onto your leg and pulls itself into you, and as it does, it digs deeper with its maw, and you feel something just kind of seep under your skin and into your bloodstream, and you know that there is something inside of you that wasn't meant to be there.
Oh, son of a bitch!
The other two see the success that the one at your feet is having, and they start to clamber down your body. The one on your chest instead will climb up and try to, like, put itself in your face to hinder you from any other attacks coming towards them. So he's not attacking you as of yet, but he is being bothersome. Brings us back to your turn.
I'm gonna put some might into this one. He done buggered me. I think the one that's hindering me, I want to be unhindered. So I want to see if I could take a swipe at him. I'm going to use the might pull again, which is going to lower me to 9.
Yep.
And I'm going to take a good old swing at this little minion.
Okay.
That is a 7.
That is enough. Because of your effort, you counteracted the hindrance that it was giving you. And you just swing your hammer, you kind of bring your other arm up and push it out so that your head just kind of comes into contact, and there is this splash of corn and a husk, and there is, for a brief instant, there is this little white puff of a cloud that opens up as one of the kernels just explodes from the force that you've put into it. And so now that's 2 down, my boy. The one that has clambered down to your other leg bites down onto your other ankle. Would you like to defend yourself?
Yeah, I'd like to defend myself.
Okay.
I want to live. I got a wife and kid to go home to. I got family here.
So this is going to be either a might if you just want to pull back your foot with everything you've got, or speed defense if you want to try to, like, pull your foot out in a dancy move.
I'm not dancy. I'm more of a, working on that forge makes you strong. You don't get fast low, so I'm gonna try to might this.
All right. You want to put any effort into it, or?
Nah, it's getting hard out here. This cornfield.
It's rough in the streets.
That's an 18 on the die.
18, that's a crit. You pull back hard, and there is so much strength with your desire not to get bit again that you actually knock him off of his footing, and it stumbles down. It falls to one knee, and it's got its one hand down trying to push itself up. You will have an eased attack against it if you'd like to take it.
I wanna smash these things so I can go home. There's nothing right in this cornfield.
There ain't
These things.
nothing right in this cornfield.
Yeah. I'll take. I'm gonna go for the attack.
Okay, so it's gonna be eased because of the
The 13.
13 is gonna hit it and just bring it crashing down. Again, you hear that kind of soft yet hard kind of crunch as this. You've never had to use a sledgehammer on anything living.
This is my good fortune hammer. Don't break it. I need it. I killed your brothers. Go back into the darkness where you came from.
Go on, get.
Yeah.
The fourth one does kind of see that you've made ready work, handiwork of its brethren, and it scatters. It scampers into the cornfield. It just screeches this incredulous sound and goes rushing back into the corn.
I try to get out of this cornfield and limp to the nearest safest light that I can find.
Okay. It takes you a bit. You've gotten turned around, and you can see that some of your scuff marks have been kind of caked off and ruined. So it takes a while to find an actual through line to get you out back onto the street. And once you get down to the gas lamp at the crossroads at the intersection, it is dark out in the world now. It looks like you must have been in this cornfield for like an hour at least, given where the sun was when you went in and how the moon has risen now that you're out. The bite looks terrible. It looks infected.
I just need to get. Man, Diane's gonna be mad. I need to get to a light, and as I'm kind of coming out of the cornfield, I go, "Wait, those are real. That means the burnt man's probably real. All those children. I can't think about it. I just need to get home and to get to a light. My intention is to get to the nearest source of safe light and take out my medical kit and try to patch a little bit. Actually, do I have any lights? Oh my god, I have no lights. It's so dark.
But you're at the gas lamp that signifies the crossroads, like the intersection that leads to the college. Like I said, so you have some light there. The moment you start to bandage yourself and to kind of disinfect the wound as best as possible, what you have, the moment that you touch anything around the wound, there is this flash of images that assault you. There's the fire, there's the train yard, there's the broken and melted tracks, and then there is this image of a cave, a network, kind of spider web of black shadow, and as your field of view starts to pull itself out of this cave, you can see that it is familiar to you. You've been there. You know this cave because it's the salt mine. It's in the south of the city. It's where the Barrow family has its roots. In Abingdon. But you've never been inside the mines. You wouldn't know what they look like. These aren't your memories that you're being given.
Oh, I think my understanding, my realization, I'd be like, wait, did I get that little demon's terrible memory? Is that where they're living? Stay away from there. Let me just get patched up, collect myself. I gotta go to church tomorrow.
And as you finish patching yourself up, you stand up. You can feel the pain shooting up from your ankle up to your body, and there's a moment where you hear, "Hey,"
No.
but it's not the same voice you heard before, and it's not the noisy chittering of whatever attacked you in the corn. It's
Look, it's been a rough night. I'm going to need you to identify yourself. Say your name. I'm John Alden. Who are you? Hey.
you hear, "Hey,
See
Daddy,
that? Daniel?
Daddy, it's dark."
I think at this point, a father's like, there's no way that I would believe my son's out here, but also it's my son. So like, I rush to see if this is another trickery of this demon, or if it's my actual son. And I try to discern that.
You follow the voice as it's calling out. Every time that you get to the point where you think you've found the source of the voice, it pulls you from another direction. It's always Daniel, and it's always, "I'm scared. It's dark. It's cold." Some kind of plea for help. And as the last call for help, actual help, comes to you, you find yourself coming around a bend, and you're standing outside the mines. And coming up from the road, you see a familiar face from the city, one that you've only seen a couple of times at the market, but you know that this is somebody else from Abingdon. And as they see you and you see them, this is what we're going to call it for tonight. So you are now a member of Abingdon, Virginia, my friend. How does it feel?
It's nice staying here for a while. I'm trying to get back to Mets, repair there, but once I make enough money, me and Diane will move back. We'll settle back. But for now, I'm here with family. They're taking care of me. I'm happy. I'm happy to be back where Pa is for a little bit at least.
And we will see what is in the mine as everybody's going to be gathered to investigate this darkness bubbling inside of Abingdon. So, as always, I want to thank you, the audience, for being here. I want to thank you, Alfie, for hopping along on this journey. What do you think of the system? I know this is your first time playing through it.
I took I took a somewhat deep read, and I started getting a feeling for it. It feels good. And I took some of the stuff away, and like it was great planning how to kind of make John. Yeah. So it's good, and man, does my ankle hurt. Something fierce.
It's gonna be interesting to see you going into this mine with that bad ankle. I sure hope nothing bad happens to any of you.
I hope my heel heals. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know. But as always, I wanna give you a chance to kind of plug whatever you're into. So at the end of every one of my streams, I always open it up to everybody that partakes. So Alfie, where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found, and what else are you up to?
If you can probably find me somewhere on Facebook. It's the only thing I have. Right now, just doing this and work, man.
I hear that.
Just work.
I hear that. But yeah, man. It's been fun. I think it's gonna be fun. We've got an interesting group lined up. As always, I want to thank the audience for being here. Remember, Mondays are for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Tuesdays are alternating between Legend of the Five Rings and Werewolf the Wild West. And Thursdays are for 7th Sea or Old Gods of Appalachia. You can catch me as a player over on McStabber Studios on Wednesdays for their Vampire the Dark Ages campaign, where I get to play a La Sombra who has never committed a war crime in his life, or unlife, as it were. But that's on break until February. But you can catch me next week playing in their Changeling the Dreaming scenario that's going to be starting up. And on Fridays in January, you can catch me playing their story of Old Gods of Appalachia, where I will be playing Preacher Green, who is a speaker who serves the green. And it's going to be a real interesting character to get my preaching voice going. So if there's a preacher character that pops up in my story, you know where it came from. But as always on the channel, we take mental health seriously here. So please understand that it is okay to not be okay. And if you need help, if you're watching live, there are phone numbers going up in our Twitch chat. They'll be in the description box if you're watching on YouTube later. But just know that I always will push for resources out there to get you the help that you need in case you need it, because the first step is always the hardest, but there are resources out there. If you're not in the United States or you don't deal well with like phone calls or text messages, there's a helpline, a link going up as well. Findahelpline.com. That'll help you find the resources in the area nearest you, or resources that don't require like phone conversations or text messages, in case you find it easier that way. As always, we are big on health here, so take care of yourselves, please. I will always let you know that it is okay to not be okay, because we all have our rough patches and we all deal with it differently, but there are people out there who want to help you and who can help you, and just know that we will always be available to give you those resources. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Alfie, for coming on board. I hope that I don't frighten you too much. I know that you are not a fan of horror.
I'm good. I ain't never scared.
You will be. Just to quote Yoda, you will be. But yeah, man, you guys take it easy. We will see you when we see you, and I cannot wait to see where the story unfolds. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.